About 70,000 years ago, your family began the greatest journey in history. Not in a ship, not on horseback, not with a map. They walked, step by step, generation after generation, across burning deserts, through endless grasslands, over frozen mountains, into lands no human had ever seen. Every person alive today carries the legacy of that impossible journey. Look around you. Every language, every culture, every nation, every city, every face. Can all of them really trace their story back to a small group of travelers in Africa? The answer is yes. And the evidence lies inside your DNA. Modern humans first evolved in Africa roughly 300,000 years ago. For hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors never left the continent. They hunted antelope, gathered berries, built simple stone tools, raised children beneath open skies. The world beyond Africa remained completely unknown. Then, something changed. Scientists still debate exactly what happened. Some believe the climate became more unstable. Others point to new hunting technology. Some researchers suggest our brains reached a level of creativity never seen before. Whatever the reason, one small population decided to do something no generation had attempted. They walked beyond the horizon. Imagine standing at the edge of your world. Behind you is everything you have ever known. Ahead lies complete uncertainty. No maps, no roads, no stories from travelers who returned. Only endless land. Would you take the first step? That single decision changed the future of every human alive today. Archaeologists believe one of the earliest migration routes crossed the Sinai Peninsula into the Middle East. Another may have followed the southern coastline through Arabia. Neither path was easy. Food was unpredictable. Water could disappear without warning. Predators hunted the darkness. Children had to survive every season. Yet they kept moving. Not because they wanted adventure, because survival demanded it. As generations passed, humans spread farther across Asia. They learned to adapt to forests, to deserts, to rivers, to mountains. Every new landscape demanded new ideas, new tools, new skills. And slowly, humanity became the greatest adaptive species Earth had ever seen. Then came one of the greatest challenges of all: ice. Much of Europe was locked beneath enormous glaciers. Temperatures dropped far below freezing. Most tropical animals could never survive. Humans did. They invented warmer clothing, built stronger shelters, controlled fire more efficiently, worked together. Each invention became another step across the frozen world. But Europe wasn't empty. Another human species already lived there: the Neanderthals. For thousands of years, modern humans and Neanderthals shared the same continent. Sometimes they competed, sometimes they traded, sometimes they even had children together. Today, many people still carry a small percentage of Neanderthal DNA. They were never completely separate from us. They became part of us. The journey continued eastward, across endless grasslands, into dense forests, toward the edge of another ocean. Some groups eventually reached Australia, not by accident. They crossed open water using simple boats. That achievement happened at least 50,000 years ago, long before the pyramids, long before writing, long before history began. Think about that for a moment. Your ancestors were already exploring oceans while mammoths still walked the earth. The greatest explorers in history never knew they were explorers. They were simply searching for tomorrow. Then came another impossible frontier: the North. Siberia, a land of brutal winters, towering ice, and months without warmth. Most animals struggled to survive there. Humans adapted once again. They hunted mammoths, sewed thick clothing from animal hides, built homes from bone and wood. Every generation learned from the last. Knowledge became humanity's greatest survival tool. Eventually, sea levels dropped during the last ice age. A vast land bridge connected Asia and North America. Today, it lies beneath the Bering Strait. Back then, it stretched for hundreds of kilometers. Families walked across it without realizing they were entering an entirely new continent. They followed herds, they followed rivers, they followed hope, and they never looked back. The first people to enter North America did not stop there. Generation after generation, they continued south. They crossed towering mountain ranges. They followed rivers that seemed to stretch forever. They hunted across endless plains. Some eventually reached the southern tip of South America, more than 15,000 kilometers from where humanity first began. No human journey has ever been longer. And no one planned it. It happened one family at a time, one campfire at a time, one child born farther from Africa than the generation before. Imagine never knowing where the journey would end. Your grandparents walked because food disappeared. Your parents walked because seasons changed. You walked because it was all you had ever known. Over thousands of years, those footsteps covered nearly every corner of Earth. Dense rainforests, frozen tundra, volcanic islands, high mountain plateaus, scorching deserts. Human beings learned to survive almost everywhere. Then came the oceans. For thousands of years, the Pacific remained Earth's greatest barrier. Beyond the horizon were thousands of islands, invisible from shore. Most people would never risk sailing into open water without knowing whether land even existed. Yet some did. The ancestors of the Polynesians became the greatest navigators the world has ever known. Without compasses, without maps, without engines. They read the stars. They studied ocean swells. They watched birds. They memorized winds. They understood the sea better than anyone else in history. Island after island slowly became home. Eventually, they reached Hawaii, then Easter Island, then New Zealand. Some voyages covered more than 4,000 kilometers across open ocean. Even modern sailors respect those achievements. How did they know where to go? They didn't. They trusted knowledge passed down through generations. Each successful voyage became another piece of humanity's greatest map. Not one drawn on paper, one stored inside memory. Meanwhile, something extraordinary was happening inside every traveler. Their DNA carried a record of the journey. Tiny genetic changes accumulated over thousands of years, like invisible breadcrumbs. Today, scientists can compare those genetic markers between populations around the world. The results tell an incredible story. Whether someone lives in Tokyo, Cape Town, Sao Paulo, London, or Manila, every person's ancestry eventually traces back to Africa. Genetics has confirmed what archaeology first suspected. We really are one enormous family. The differences we notice today appeared surprisingly recently. Skin color changed as humans adapted to different sunlight. Body shape changed with climate. Languages multiplied. Cultures flourished. Traditions evolved. But underneath those differences, our DNA remains astonishingly similar. About 99.9% identical. Think about that. Every disagreement, every border, every flag, every nation exists within a species that is almost genetically the same. Our greatest differences are remarkably small. Our greatest similarities run incredibly deep. The journey never truly stopped. Today we cross oceans in hours. We fly farther in a single day than our ancestors walked in decades. Satellites guide us. Maps fit inside our pockets. We explore space instead of unknown forests. Yet the instinct remains. We still wonder what lies beyond the horizon. We still climb mountains, cross deserts, dive beneath oceans, and dream about walking on Mars. That same curiosity carried our ancestors across continents. Now it pushes us toward other worlds. Professor Spencer Wells once described humanity as a family reunion spread across the entire planet. Every person you will ever meet shares common ancestors with you. Some lived thousands of years ago. Some lived hundreds of thousands. But every single human belongs to the same remarkable story. The longest journey ever walked was never about distance. It was about possibility. It proved that intelligence could overcome climate, that cooperation could defeat isolation, that curiosity could conquer fear. Those ancient travelers never knew what they were creating. They were simply trying to survive another season. Yet every village they founded became another step towards civilization. Every discovery became another gift to future generations. Every child carried the journey farther, including you. The next time you look at a map, remember this. The lines separating countries are incredibly young. The roads connecting cities are even younger. But the footsteps beneath them began hundreds of thousands of years ago. Your family has been walking ever since, and in many ways, we still are.